I made a plan last week. Well, life had other plans this week.
And before I get into what a disaster this week was, the cards we're designing today are the Nine of Wands, the Knight of Wands, and the Two of Wands. I should have known something was up when on Sunday I invited a bunch of people over to have like an art party and nobody could come. It was mildly disappointing, but I made art by myself with my cat Spooky, and I got to play with watercolors, which I haven't gotten to do in a while, so I still had a good time, even though nobody showed up to my party. Little did I know that that was actually nothing compared to what would happen to me at the end of the week, but I digress. Let's talk about tarot for a bit. So the wand suit in tarot represents fire. That's the corresponding element, which symbolizes like passion, energy, enthusiasm, and sexuality. When I was a tarot beginner, I used to get all the suits mixed up all the time. And the wand suit was particularly hard for me to get a hold of. So I kind of think of it as wands are made of wood, and wood is flammable. So each wand is like potential energy, like ready to be used. But you have to be careful because fire can be very powerful and very dangerous. So the wand suit is basically a balance between, using that power and energy and confidence to go after your own goals and like to achieve things in life, but also be aware of like the negative aspects, which are like egotistical, arrogance, also recklessness, and not taking the time to properly think things through. And on that note, the card that I decided to work on first is the Two of Wands, which is all about making decisions, planning, deciding on the next steps to take. Everything in life is a trade-off. If you go down one path, you are leaving another behind. That's why making a choice can feel so paralyzing. We often seek familiarity over the unknown. Even when the familiar sucks, at least we know what to expect. Change is scary, but so is never changing at all. The twos in tarot are directing us to look at two opposing forces. The wand suit is about fire, passion, and energy, and in this case, the Two of Wands asks us which path to choose. Committing to a path is no easy feat, but remember, pacing back and forth between the two paths will consume just as much energy, and you will have gotten nowhere. Accept that any path in life is going to have advantages and difficulties. Once you're on a path, those difficulties scream louder than the advantages. Allow yourself some grace. You will undoubtedly stumble along the way, but every step forward is progress. It's Wednesday, my dudes. My schedule's already been thrown off because, my babysitter is on vacation, and this weekend I'm going to my cousin's wedding. Sometimes life just knocks you on your ass, and there's nothing you can do about it except endure it. And that's what this card is all about. The Nine of Wands is all about perseverance, endurance, and determination. The day before we were supposed to leave for my cousin's wedding, we all got violently ill. How violent, you might be asking? I'm talking purging demons out of every orifice. Not a molecule of food or water was safe. And as I lay there, putrefying on my bathroom floor, I couldn't help but think, why me? What the fuck, Susan? And as corny as it sounds, there is a lot of wisdom in suffering. It has a way of correcting your priorities. Material things cease to be important. You don't care what you look like, you don't care what clothes you're wearing. When you're sick, all you want is to be healthy again. Oh, look who came to join me. That's my cat, Jack. If you just hear purring throughout the video, he's hanging. It is not a surprise to me in the slightest that the card that's given me the most trouble at so far out of all of them is the card about perseverance. This one took me about I think 3 or more hours to do, because I kept having to redo every little bit of it. I do get it to a point where it is good enough. I have to keep reminding myself that this is going to be in a set of 77 other cards, so it's more about completing them and seeing them all together than it is just having it's not like this one card is going to be hanging in a museum, It's not like every card has to be a masterpiece. It just has to get the certain idea across. Hardship and difficulty in life is inevitable. Even as I'm talking right now, it's Saturday. It's been a couple days and I'm still recovering from an illness, and I'm still forcing myself to record audio for this video, which I probably should just let myself have another day to rest, but I want to get this thing done, damn it. Isn't that what perseverance is all about? Luckily, I can record audio in bed surrounded by cats, so it's really, don't feel any pity for me. I'm doing fine. I decided to put this silly goose on top of the mountain. He might have a few scratches on him, but he carried those sticks up that whole mountain, and he got to where he wanted to go. And he's willing to weather whatever comes his way, and he's gonna figure out how to have a good time while doing it. Your mindset can be one of the most important things in your success and happiness in life. Obviously, there's a balance. Feel your emotions, but I always try to find the positive spin, the positive angle. Even with these past couple days, even these past couple days with me and Shane being sick, I experienced the worst of it during the day, and then Shane experienced the worst of it during the night, because we only have one bathroom, and if we were both sick at the same time, that could have been a nightmare. But luckily, that never happened. So, in that respect, super lucky. I'm glad that it worked out that way. They call me Mr. Brightside. In the age of social media, instant versus delayed gratification is kind of a big topic of conversation, because we live in a time where everything is pretty much instantly available at our fingertips. So to me, the Nine of Wands is about taking the hard, delayed path. And I'm vibing with this card for a plethora of reasons. I feel like I'm going down a path of delayed gratification, because I know that this artist and creator path of mine is going to be, a slow, gradual process. I'm essentially committing myself to 3 unpaid jobs. I'm a stay-at-home parent, an artist, and a social media content creator / editor. And I know we like to give social media people a lot of shit, but it isn't exactly easy. I mean, it obviously depends on the content, but there is a degree of challenge to it, especially when you're being creative. And I guess it's also probably important for me to point out that there is a certain privilege in not needing to work a normal 40-hour work week, at a job where you're consistently getting paid. I totally understand and appreciate that 1,000%. This is in no way me complaining about the situation I put myself in. I'm completely happy doing this kind of job, even if it is unpaid, because I'm passionate about it. That's where the wands come in, baby. It's easier to endure and to be persistent in the thing that you are passionate about. But the cool part about social media is that, like, once you get through like the foundational building stage where you like have to like build an audience and create a like body of work, much like being an artist and a content creator kind of go hand in hand. But like after that, and you get monetized, and it like the more you do it, the easier it gets. You just have to be willing and able to weather perhaps a few years of not getting much in return, but then the return on investment seems to be exponential depending on obviously the creator. Also, I swear to God, this wasn't staged. When I was going through the cards, I realized that there was a card stuck to the back of the Nine of Wands, and it's the star, which symbolizes like hope and optimism. So I thought that was kind of poetic. Now we're moving on to the last card of this week, which is the Knight of Wands. This card is kind of about like adventure, travel, willpower, advocacy, doing something you're passionate about, that kind of vibe. I generally see the Knights as like action cards. And if you're somebody who struggles with like getting out of your head and actually like putting yourself out there and like doing the thing that you're scared to do, this would be my advice. I really encourage you to kind of look at your beliefs and how your mind like processes and thinks about things. Did you know that so there's placebo, but there's also the opposite, which is called a nocebo. Basically, if you expect a negative result, you're more likely going to receive a negative result. The brain is like a very, very powerful thing. Your psychology and like how you view the world and think about the world is absolutely going to shape the outcomes you have in the world. It's obviously easier said than done, but for the past year, I've been kind of analyzing my thoughts, and I've been trying to pull at the roots of like some of these like negative, unhelpful thoughts and like try to figure out where they actually came from. A lot of thought processes are like inherited from other people. Even just like being around somebody who's like constantly like stressed out, like we have like a biological reaction to that. And like then we get more stressed out in return. Not saying to avoid anybody who's under stress, but like just know how easily affected we are. Tarot's fun, and the reason why I think it has been working so well for me is because it acts like a placebo. Even if you know a placebo is a placebo, you can still get psychological benefits from them, which is funny. The human brain is a lovely thing. I also believe in a spiritual component to them, but I think that the spiritual component is something that is unique to every person. Everyone has their own spiritual connection, and that they have to figure it out for themselves. I've been seeing the world as a kind of a more magical place, like through a more magical lens, and that really has helped with like the nihilism. If you think about it in like a different way, like yeah, we are just like a bunch of apes on a rock in space, but like we learned how to harness electricity And now we have like basically literal magic. I think it's just like the way we frame it. Like it's just so mundane and like everyday, and we're so used to it. Human creativity is basically the source of magic. And I'm dying on that hill, baby. You can't convince me otherwise. Alrighty, we've reached the end of this video. I hope that you've enjoyed it. If nothing else, I hope that it has inspired you to start working on something you're passionate about. Have a great day. Bye.